Hi Lash Babes, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this very beautiful, soft, hybrid doll eye set while lashing on curly lashes. So for today's products, I'm mainly going to be using all London Lash products. For tweezers, I'm going to be using 1, 2, and 5. And the lashes are going to be the Chelsea Silk Lashes in CC Curl 0.04 and also their 0.10 classic lashes. So again, it's a hybrid set, so I'm going to be doing a mixture of both of them, and I like to do separate tiles, that way I know which lash is which. I'm also going to be using their disposable applicators. These things are so cool because the handles, you can reuse them and clean them, sanitize them, and then the only thing you dispose of is the tops. So cool, I love it. I'm also going to be using the London Lash primer, booster, and super bonder. I cannot lash without these little guys, so good. I'm also going to be using their Teflon eye patches, hands down the best eye patches. So sticky, I love them. They're super tiny, but they get the job done. How many times can I say London Lash in this video? So I'm going to be using the London Lash Flexi Glue, and the only thing that is different in this video is the wash. I'm going to be using my wash, and it's going to be coming out very soon, so my lash shampoo will be available hopefully at the end of the month. If you're watching this later on, I'm pretty sure it's already available, but you guys already know that I have to wash and prime every single time. Prepping will make sure that the application goes smoothly, especially for curly lashes. I feel like curlier lashes tend to be a lot thicker, so you want to make sure that you are properly washing those lashes. You're really getting in there, getting all those oils and residue out of her lashes, because then when you go in with the glue, it's going to stick beautifully, especially because, you know, curly lashes are already a little bit hard to work with. So you want to make sure that the application just goes smoothly, that way that glue sticks to those lashes nicely. Look how sticky these eye pads are. You can easily just go in there and place them directly right underneath the water line and just leave it as is, because you technically don't need tape with these eye pads, but I still do it just because these eye pads still have gel in them. Some clients do tend to be a little more sensitive to gel, so that's why I like to place them a little bit lower to ensure that that gel doesn't come up and get inside their eye. And then again, you just want to make sure that those bottom lashes are properly taped down. You don't want any lashes poking out, and then later on you're wondering how they even got glued to the top ones. So making sure that the inner and outer corners are not poking your client's eye, that you always have to ask them if they're feeling comfortable. So my model is actually a good friend of mine, and I am very excited to finally get to lash her. I've done her lashes a couple times before, but normally just classic lashes. So the fact that I was able to sit down with her and actually do a hybrid set on her, they just look so beautiful. They complemented her eyes so beautifully. So as you guys already know, I have to prime no matter what. I feel like you don't need to if you're washing your client's lashes, but me personally, I like to double cleanse. I want to make sure that those lashes are nice and prepped, that way that glue just sticks to those lashes magnetically. And a lot of people will say you don't need to prime, but I can guarantee you that if you do this step, it will just make your retention so much better. So I am using a booster here, and this is a plus. This is one thing that I will say you don't really need, but I'm telling you guys, you do really need it, just because this booster will help that glue just dry faster. Sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever noticed that your glue is like drying a little bit slower. Your room temperature humidity is not where it needs to be at. Using this booster will help that as soon as that glue touches that lash, it will help cure the glue a lot faster, speed up the dry time. So for the lash map, I am doing a doll eye. So in case you missed the lash map, I'm also going to have it in the description box. But starting off from the inner corners, we're going to do 8, 9, 10, 11, and then section off right in the middle, 12. So 12 is going to have the biggest section, and then we're going to drop it back down to 11, 10, 9. So as you guys can see here, I am going to be doing one eye lashing in layers. So I'm going to pretty much tape up the lashes, and then I'm going to pull out the bottom layer, and this will help out if you are struggling seeing those lashes. Sometimes with curly lashes, it can be a little bit of a headache because the lashes intertwine and they're getting stuck with each other. So doing this will pretty much just help expose that bottom layer. That way it's a lot easier to isolate. And then on this side, I'm going to be doing it regular. I just wanted to show you guys that it's pretty much the same process, but at least taping up the lashes, you don't struggle as much. And on the other eye, all I'm going to do is lift up that eye so I'm able to see those lashes a little bit better. If you feel like your lashes are pointing straight on the iPad, taping them up will pretty much expose those lashes. Lift them up, you're able to see them a little bit better, and it'll expose them a lot nicer. Okay, so I slowed it down here for you guys a little bit so you guys can see what I did. This lash was kind of doing like an S formation, and what I did is I ended up focusing on placing the lash on the opposite side. So let me replay it again for you guys. As you guys can see, it's forming like an S, and I pretty much came on the opposite side and placed it on the top, but going straight up at you. You never want to place the lash going the same direction that that natural curly lash is going. So say if it's going to the left, you never want to place the lash going to the left, because then when that client opens her eyes, it's gonna look like it's going to the left. You want to make sure that all the lashes are pointing straight up at you. So as you can see here, this lash is pointing to the right, and I pretty much placed it at the top but on the opposite side, and this will make sure that that lash is pointing straight up at me, towards me, and not to the right how the natural lash is pointing. So you pretty much want to figure out any way possible to try to place a lash. I normally like to place it on the sides or at the top. Sometimes it is a little hard placing it at the top, but I feel like that's what works best for me. As you guys can see, this lash is pointing to the right, and I'm going to place it on the opposite side, but still trying to keep it straight, because like I said, you don't want it to be placing it directly on the top and then it having pointing to the right, because it's going to throw the whole set off. So again, if it's going to the right, you want to place it on the opposite side. That way you have room to make sure that that extension goes up straight towards you. If it's facing to the left, you want to place it on the opposite side, which is on the right, and then again point it straight towards you. Sorry if I'm confusing you, and I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense, but let me rephrase that. If your lash is pointing to the right, what you'll want to do is you'll place it on the top or on the side, on the opposite side, so on the left side of that lash. So here I'm about to show you guys what it is that I mean by that. As you can tell, this lash is pointing to the right, and I'm going to put it on the opposite side, which is on the left side, and I'm going to try to place it on the top, but mainly on the side. As you can see here, that lash is still pointing to the right, but I want to make sure that that extension is pointing straight up and not pointing the direction that the natural lash is going, if that makes sense. So if it's on the opposite side, you'll pretty much do the same thing. But as you can see here, again, the lash is pointing actually towards me, so I'm gonna place it on the side that I'm able to get in better. So if it's pointing straight at you and it's super curly, then try to place it on the side or on the bottom. I feel like for me on the bottom it's a little bit harder to place it, so I try to go in from the sides and just look how nicely it sits on the side. If your lash is pointing straight at you, the lash is curly, you really can't get in there, then try to work with it. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to just work with it and see what direction it's going. And as you guys can see here, I am placing it on the side. You never want to place that extension directly on that lash and have it face the way that it's going. You want to make sure that that extension is coming straight up at you, because again, you want to make sure that every single extension is going the same direction. You never want an extension to be going crooked or the same way that the natural lash is going, because then it's going to throw the whole set off. I know I keep repeating myself, but that's pretty much what it is. Lash extensions is very repetitive, so I try to say it in different ways, hoping that you guys will understand what I'm saying. It's a lot easier to show you, but if I try to explain it exactly how I'm doing it, then it makes a little bit more sense. So the reason why you want each extension to be pointing straight up and not in the direction that that natural lash is going is because it will help guide that natural lash to grow out straight. So the more that there were extensions, the more that extension will guide that natural lash to grow out straight instead of curly. And it's a little weird to say, but it's true. I have multiple clients with curly lashes, and it's gotten to the point where their natural lashes have been growing out straight instead of curly, because the way that you place that extension, it will pretty much guide and help her natural lash grow in the direction that that extension is pointing. So you never want to be pointing it in the direction that the natural lash is growing, because again, it will continue to grow that way. So make sure that you are pointing it in the opposite direction. That way it helps guide that natural lash to grow in the direction that you want it to grow out. So I am going to put some killer music here and pretty much let you guys enjoy the rest. At this point, I've said what I need to say, and you guys can just easily see what I'm doing, but I'll be right back if I have any pointers.
Who you are, honey, you're fine, fine. All mothers and queens, all women with dreams. Tonight the world is ours. Hey, we're gonna have that girl talk, my girl tonight. We're gonna take that load up, yeah, the heart to heart. Yeah, we're gonna have one or two or three bottles of wine. The night is up with the moon is bright. We're gonna dance till we feel alright. We're gonna have that girl talk, girl talk, girl talk. Stop feeling like you're not good enough. Don't ever say you'll never fall in love again. Stop listening to the noise. Don't you give up. Don't you give up, no. Haters will keep waiting. Come on, stop meditating. Tonight the world is ours. Hey, we're gonna have that girl talk, my girls tonight. We're gonna take that load up, yeah, the heart to heart. Hey, yeah, we're gonna have one or two or three bottles of wine. Yeah, the night is up but the moon is bright. We're gonna dance till we feel right. We're gonna have that girl talk, girl talk, girl talk. Gonna have that girl talk, my girls tonight. We're gonna have one or two or three bottles of wine. Oh, we're gonna talk about he said, she said, honey, just hang out. Oh, the night is up and the moon is bright. We're gonna dance till we feel alright. We're gonna have that girl talk, girl talk, girl talk. We're gonna have that girl talk, yeah, yeah.
Okay, since I already know a bunch of you guys are going to ask me how I went about doing this hybrid set, I pretty much had no direction, no structure. I was just winging it. Pretty much I was doing a classic fan, but I had no real sense of direction. You can do 1-1-1-1, as in one classic, one fan, one classic, one fan, but that's only if you're actually going in a direction. I kind of was all over the place. I had no real sense of direction. Normally I start from the inner corners and work my way out, but this time I was just having fun with it. So if you do want an actual method of how to do this, then yeah, go ahead and do one classic, one fan all throughout the lash line. But if you are going to be doing it the same way that I was doing it, pretty much lashing all throughout the lash line, then just have fun with it. There is no right or wrong way of doing a hybrid set. So for my fans, I was doing about 70 to 10D the most, and because I was using lighter classic lashes, I was using a 0.10, but because it was such a light classic lash, I was creating bigger fans to create a little more density. But this is pretty much it. I hope this explanation made a little more sense when it comes to lashing curly lashes, and that's pretty much it. You're gonna finish her off using a sealer or super bonder, and again, I'm using the London Lash super bonder, and that is pretty much it. I hope you guys liked today's video, and if you guys do have any more questions, make sure to comment down below. Make sure to subscribe if you are new here, and also check out my website because I just recently launched my online courses. So if you guys have any more information about my online courses, I will have the links down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.